Hello everyone and welcome to D2C Dialogues. Today we have got Suhasini Sampath, co-founder Yogabar. Yogabar, the overview of Yogabar is as follows. Yogabar is a Bangalore-based health food brand. Their mission is to make the country eat healthier. They write, we have grown exponentially since we started in 2015. We are one of the most recognized health food brands in the country. We believe in honest food labels and balanced nutrition. We take the harder route and make our products tasty without loading them up with junk ingredients. We do it because we all truly believe in our mission. We have an aggressive, fast-paced, and mission-oriented culture. We promise significant autonomy and room for experimenting. Our culture is centered on respect, innovation, and growth. Welcome to D2C Dialogues, Suhasini.
Thank you, Hitesh. Very nice to be here.
So, Suhasini, can you tell us what was that aha moment that led, you to start Yogabar?
Yeah. So my sister and me actually used to go to these yoga classes in the US, and after one of those classes, we kind of picked a kind bar, and it was very natural. It was, seamless ingredients and all of that. And my sister, looking at the bar, said, if I had a bar like this in India, I would call it Yogabar. And we trademarked the name 3 years before we actually started the company, because we thought at that point of time, there were no healthy products at all in the Indian market. So it was an idea very early of its time, but we love the brand name. And I think the aha moment was actually figuring out a great brand name.
So the great brand name was obviously there, but what about a great product? You created a great product too. So how did that happen, and why this segment? What was the reason?
I think food is actually very simple. If you think about creating products the way you would want your family to eat, and you actually have that premise in mind, right? You naturally end up making the best food for your family and for yourself. And when you start thinking that your consumers are an extended version of this family, and what is good for you is good for them, you put in a lot of good ingredients into the products that you make. So if you ask me, I would say Yogabar products are inspired from the fact that we were one of the first food companies who actually think about extremely clean labeled, protein-rich food, and food exactly like the way we make for our families. So whatever you find in the kitchen, you put it together, lots of whole grains, lots of nuts, lots of seeds. Then you put some amount of cocoa to make it tasty. And it's actually a very simple food philosophy. Just like you think about it, like the way the mother makes it for their family, right? Very simple. It's just like that.
So the idea was conceived in US, then you came to India and in Bangalore, and then you started. Yeah. What was the major challenge that you faced? Because right from concept to then, seeing your manifestation and implementing the idea was something which was a challenging part for a person who is not from a food background.
Yeah, I mean, I think any business is challenging. I don't think any business actually from setup to growth is very easy. But the setup was also, made harder by the fact that there was no health food market in the country. So you also have to create that market, and creators are it's always a difficult job. It's easier to take market share than it is to create a market. Also, we built our entire factory ourselves. Like if you come to our factory today, it's like a fully automated plant, just like a very large MNC. And, building all of that, building the distribution, building a brand, we took the hard way out. I think we are naturally people who kind of try to learn, do everything slowly, but it's benefited us in the long term because we built something that was extremely sustainable.
So when you say you had to create a market, there was none. So was it the mode of distribution or mode of whether it was online, offline, that was the challenge, or creating a healthy snack bar as a market was a challenge?
I think both. I mean, the question is articulated well. I think creating a health food brand was also a challenge. And in those times, you didn't have like online, like Amazon and Flipkart were still fundraising. Flipkart was at $1 billion valuation and they were still raising funds, right? So you didn't have the benefit of having a lot of online channels where you could market. So you needed to get offline retail absolutely bang on. So from that perspective, I think it was challenging also because the environment had not yet geared up for this whole online selling mode. And creating a brand in a very niche category is also hard.
So what was your conviction at that time?
I think, Hitesh, actually, you should not overthink business. You should keep doing small things every day, and then the benefit of doing a lot of things correctly actually just accumulates. If you start thinking about the challenges, you won't overcome them. You should. The secret sauce is actually not thinking about the challenges. It's just solving small problems every day.
So friends, we have got an insight here. The secret sauce is not thinking about the challenges, or rather putting it, not getting worried about the challenges, because that's going to be a daily affair.
Overwhelming.
Yeah. And not overthinking again. So I think that was one of the best insights, I've got. But can you still tell us that how did you derive at the product? So what exactly was the product at that time? And what has the product been today? How has it traveled over the last decade?
Actually, funnily enough, our packaging and product are exactly the same. It hasn't changed at all. I feel we were ahead of time when it came to packaging. Our packaging was very modern. I mean, a lot of people recognized that the Yogabar branding and the Yogabar look was far ahead of its time. And the product philosophy remains to this day what it was on the day we started. Make food the way you make for your family, put healthy ingredients, which means we use a lot of millets, whole grains, nuts, and seeds. And that continues to be exactly the way we manufacture even today. The only thing that's changed is from a 600 square feet kitchen, it's become a 60,000 square feet automated plant. But other than that, the philosophy, the way we are as people, the way the culture of the organization, none of that has changed.
So from kitchen to a plant, and that's where the whole journey is, Suhasini. That's why we want to know more about, first the kitchen. Plant, even though it is 60,000, the challenges are less because everything is automated, finances are there, distribution is there. But way back, and when you started, did you start selling it only online, or how did you do it, the distribution part?
No, we actually had complete offline distribution. We started as an offline company only. So, and in that 600 square feet facility, my mother also used to come and help us make the bars and put cellophane tape around it. And, we did a lot of gifting for Diwali. We used to sell to a lot of the yoga studios. So I used to stand doing the sampling outside most of these yoga studios so as to get customer feedback. So when you start out, though, you use everything that you can use, Yeah. I was the printer, come stationery boy, come bank clerk, come sampling person, everything I used to kind of handle. My sister used to be in the kitchen. She used to make the bars. My mother used to help to clean wrap it and all of that.
How many people were there total?
I mean, there were only 5 people. It was my sister, 2 helpers, my mother and me. That's about it.
Wow. And the conviction in this process had, given, you must have never thought that this would give this kind of a fruit in the future.
I don't know. I mean, that is hard to say because inherently we are extremely ambitious people. It's not that I thought of it as a very small business or anything. I always had this idea that I would create a large company. But I had the conviction that even if you start small, you can grow really big if you stay true to your purpose. And I think that's the consistency. We were always consistent. We said at some point there will be a tipping point.
Okay.
So
true to your purpose. And yes, I think that's where the conviction was. And when did that tipping point come, Suhasini?
I think the tipping point, I think post COVID, I would say that people are a lot more conscious about their health. We've seen 100% growth year on year in our business. So also the brand and having been very true to the product that we created has resulted in a lot of consumer love. Like consumers have told their parents about it, feed their kids our product, tell their friends about it. Like we've never run a marketing campaign for Yogabar. A large part of the sales has just come from word of mouth.
I'll come to the marketing part later. But kids also loved a product like this?
Yeah, I mean, we actually have an entire range of products for children. So we have chocos as well. But our chocos is completely non-maida, just made 70% from millets and dal and pulses. So parents are very happy that now they have a chocos where you have zero maida. So, and just good stuff, with the strength of 2 chapatis and all of that. So So yeah, we've kids love it. Kids also love the bars. A lot of parents keep half bar in the different box for snacks. So that also happens.
So what were your marketing segments? Which all segments you started with and then you expanded subsequently?
I think our marketing segments was primarily, between 24 and 30, I would say is, the people whom we kind of marketed to. And we were agnostic, like we did not, mm, target men or women. It just so happened that, and we probably have an equal kind of mix between men and women buying our products. So I would say the person who just kind of comes out of college, starts thinking about health, wants at least one healthy meal a day, doesn't have a cook at home, is probably, around RTG.
Okay. From a mark, you said you have spent less on marketing and more on sales. But whatever little you must have thought about, how did you position the brand Yogabar?
I mean, honestly, we didn't follow any textbook thing of positioning, right? For us, yoga's health. I mean, it's a journey where people get better every day. You make small steps to make your journey better every day. And in a lot of things in our packaging, you'll see like the most beautiful thing that you see today is yourself in the mirror or things like that, right? So it's a lot of positivity, a lot of happiness, a lot of all of that. We position ourselves as a product that actually makes you happy because it's something that your body likes, because we're not compromising on taste and we still put a lot of nourishment into the products that we create.
So the product was perfect, but the other things were, distribution, that is the place, the price. How did the consumer, accept the price points that you had, entered with?
Oh, I think we were reasonably priced. I would say that we were not more expensive than a pack of, like our muesli is comparable to the market leader. Our snack bars were comparable to us, expensive chocolate. So from that perspective, the trade-off was not, we are not a very expensive brand. Actually, we are niche to the extent that mainstream breakfast cereal brands are niche, but we are not niche to the extent that we charge a premium on that.
So in this journey, you said that every business has challenges, but what were the main challenges you faced and how did you overcome that? Especially in the food business, which is a perishable business.
I think lots of challenges in the sense that we were very early to the market. And the only way to overcome the challenge is to stay long enough. The overcoming of the challenge of being early is to have the patience and determination to walk that journey. That I think is the way to overcome a problem of being very, very early in the journey.
So where were you selling your Yogabar initially, and then where all did you expand?
We initially were selling only in Bangalore, and then we started selling in all the 8 metros.
So currently, where all is Yogabar available?
Primarily in all the metro cities, and now with ITC's distribution expansion, we will probably go to a lot more, expand our distribution quite a bit.
Tell us about the ITC part, Suhasini, and that smile tells everything. But we would like to know more about the details, somewhat.
Yeah, I can tell you, I mean, it's a publicly listed company, yes. So there's a lot of information available
Absolutely.
On the deal terms, right? But I will talk about the softer aspects, which is interesting, right? There are many times you go into a deal and you wonder whether you've given up too much or given too less. This is one of those deals where both parties on the deal felt it was an absolutely fair deal. I feel it's a very fair deal. ITC feels it's a very fair deal. And that's the beauty of a good partnership, where both parties shook hands, feeling like it's the absolute right thing to do. I also think it helps the brand really live, because as a culture, ITC is very entrepreneurial in the way it does its FMCG launches. I actually feel like it was the right time for us to have actually done this deal.
And why was so, Suhasini?
Because we'd reached a point in the business where distribution expansion was very, very critical. Because we were only available in about 4,000 stores. Additional distribution means taking additional capital, means getting your distribution right. And if somebody has the ready-made manpower and ready-made systems and processes to do it, why not do that partnership and make sure that that's how we can grow?
So now, thinking from ITC's side, there must be plenty of brands in the country at that time, and I'm not sure about it, how many. But why Yogabar for ITC?
I mean, from a perspective, Yogabar is the largest health food brand in the country. I think for ITC, the scale was very important. We were the largest, new age health food brand in the country, and and when they did a market survey, the brand was extremely strong. So I think those are the two primary reasons why it made a lot of sense for them.
So in which all categories now you are present, Suhasini?
Primarily breakfast, and also now the children and kids snacking category.
Okay. And going ahead from a distribution perspective, what would be your plans?
Yeah, we'll move from 6,000 stores to about 20,000 stores, then to about 30,000 and 45,000 stores over the next 3 years.
And expanding the range SKUs?
I mean, whatever's within the umbrella of health, natural snacking, kids products, baby product, weaning food products, things like that is what we're going to focus on.
Fair. And there are many brands in the country, and today you see the D2C market or even the offline market is flooded with brands in the health segment. Many of them have got good recognition, good investment, funding, etc. Where do you see, from a competition perspective, where does Yogabar stand?
I think from a competition perspective, I think from a brand perspective, I think the only brand that actually people recollect from a new age health food brand is Yogabar, because also the name is so lovely, right? Like yoga as a concept is so easy to remember. I don't know. For me, I place myself right at the top of competition. Second place is not good enough, so that's the way I would perceive it.
Okay.
But I could be biased. Yeah.
So how do you see Yogabar in the next 5 years now, Suhasini?
I think, from a perspective of being that one-stop shop for health food, like if someone goes into a department store and wants to shop a healthy alternative to everything, they think about Yogabar. From a brand perspective, that's the umbrella brand I want to be.
Okay. Now, what would be your advice? And this, you can, wear a hat of an entrepreneur, which you are anyways wearing it. But there are so many startups and brands that have entered the market or who would like to enter the market, especially in the segment where you are. What would be your advice to them if I talk about pricing, product, promotion, place, etc.?
I would say products should come from a place of absolute passion. I would say stay very true to your consumer, understand your consumer very well, and be very careful with the way you use the capital that you raise. Gone are the times where capital is plenty. You have to be conscious about the way you build your business, and you have to be completely transparent. I think from a perspective of transparency to your consumers, to your investors, it is often the most simple thing, but the things that we forget the most. I would say one should always focus on being completely transparent.
One of the last questions is, there are many female entrepreneurs in the country, and you have been one of the successful, you have been one of the successful female entrepreneurs here. What would be your advice for the budding female entrepreneurs? And this is more to encourage, inclusiveness and encourage women in work, women leadership. You are a classic example for that. How would you, what would be your advice for them?
I would actually say that gender is irrelevant. Like, don't think of yourself as a woman and having lesser, you will be able to achieve as much as you set your mind and heart to achieve. And maybe sometimes the journey takes longer because, you have to juggle multiple things. Even I'm a very balanced human being. For me, it's equally important that I read that story to my kid when she goes to sleep at night, right? And I'm okay to live a very, very balanced life. And a lot of women would make that choice, but just be prepared to be patient with your business, and you will play the long game. You will be able to achieve a lot. So, I mean, absolute encouragement to all the women entrepreneurs out there. There is no better time in India to actually be a woman entrepreneur. And I say this to many people. I benefited far more by being a woman entrepreneur. And I feel like gender actually made it much easier for me because I got so much of support because India is at a place now that where everyone wants to encourage women entrepreneurs. So it's a very good time to actually start.
That's Suhasini telling India is the place where everybody wants to encourage women.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now we go to the last round of this interview, Suhasini, and that's the rapid fire round. I'll be asking a couple of questions, shooting at you. So we start. What is your favorite Yogabar product?
Dark chocolate muesli.
What is the most memorable customer feedback you have received?
I had a feedback once from a person who said that his during the last month when his mother was really sick, the only thing she actually wanted to eat were Yogabar products. So we had sent her, it meant so much to her because she wanted to remember the taste. And that memory always stuck in my head.
If you could collaborate with any celebrity for an endorsement product, who would it be?
I'm not one for actually, celebrities, Bollywood, all of that doesn't work for me at all. If there was somebody I admire, like I admire Nirmala Sitaram, like I feel like intellectual admiration, right? I think it takes a lot of grit to get to where she got to in India, but of course she can't endorse the product. So, but that's my answer on influencers.
Imagine Yogabar as a magical potion. What special powers or benefits would it offer to those who consume it?
More protein, actually. Not even a mythical, it's an actual benefit. Like it gives you more protein, and every human being has to have 1 gram of protein for every kg of weight. So I feel like it fits that protein consumption that we need for a day.
If you had to sum up the taste of Yogabar's products in a catchy slogan, what would it be?
I would have to borrow from Britannia's Health Be, Taste Be.
Okay. If Yogabar had hosted a food Olympics, which product would win the global gold medal for most energizing?
I would say it's our newly launched 10-gram protein bars.
If Yogabar had a mascot, what kind of animal or character would it be, and how would it represent the brand?
I have actually launched Yoga Baby with the unicorn. So it would be a unicorn.
Unicorn.
It's because and not because unicorn the way venture capitalists look at unicorn, but unicorn because it's such a special character. Everybody's unique. And I feel like a unicorn kind of depicts that.
Name one brand you see as your closest competitor.
I would say Kellogg's.
Describe Yogabar in 3 words.
Honest, tasty, healthy.
5 years down the line, last question, 5 years down the line, where do you see Yogabar?
As the largest new age health food company that's probably doing revenues close to a large MNC company.
Oh, revenue close to a large MNC company.
Yeah.
So that's extremely and really ambitious, but all the wishes, Suhasini, you have all the ingredients in your ambition to be the largest one or one amongst them. We wish you all the best. Thank you for joining us for D2C Dialogues, Suhasini.
Thank you for having me, Hitesh. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.